Good morning, Top Fan Rivalry listeners. It is Friday, and it is an abomination that there's an off day for some teams after opening day yesterday. But we are here to talk baseball. It is the regular season has fully begun for everybody. I'm Jackson, as always. I'm here with my good buddy, Bill.
Knocking over crap in my house now.
But yeah,
Woo!
here we
How
are.
you doing, Jackson?
Weekly review. First one of the regular season. I'm doing all right. Braves didn't win, but you can't win them all. You don't go 162-0. Everybody chill out. Half the
Hey,
team, half the
Dodgers
teams
are
in
going to
the
go 161-1. They're going to lose one game to the White Sox.
look, just remember, half the teams in the league lose every night.
Possibly, probably. So,
Mathematically, yes.
mathematically, yes. All right, Jackson, start us off, man. This is going to be so much fun. Start us off. We finally got stuff to report on. What's your number one?
Uh, I want to talk about a pitcher who joined some really nice company. Mackenzie Gore yesterday, opening day started for the Washington Nationals, struck out 13 batters over 6 innings. He joins Bob Gibson as the only pitchers to strike out more than 13 batters on opening day. Uh, he was dealing. Maybe the Phillies shouldn't have put five lefties in the lineup against a guy like Gore in an afternoon game, but he looked really good, and he was one of my breakout picks. Spoiler: if you haven't read the article yet, go read it. It's up in the locker room, but
It's actually up on the front page.
it's on the front page. Yeah, Bill just showed me it's on the front page. But I think Gore is going to be
Front page of what?
more the guy that they thought they got in that Juan Soto trade. I think Gore is really going to be an ace for the Nationals moving forward. And I think you're really going to start seeing the fruits of Washington's trade with with the Padres this year. You're going to see James Wood, you're going to see Mackenzie Gore really start to just tear it up.
So that's the thing, Jackson. You mentioned this, right? And um, I've been telling people about Gore kind of offline because I watched his stuff last year, and I thought as soon as this kid figures it out, he's going to be really, really good. And so I think you nailed that. And you may or may not have picked him up on our fantasy league, didn't you?
Yeah, yes, but I picked him up before he struck out 13 batters. I want to clarify that I had an open spot for injury, and nobody else had picked him, which surprised me because I thought he'd went at some point in the draft. We were drafting really late. It was like past 9 p.m. my time, so my brain's absolutely cooked at that time of night. But yeah, so I'm really happy he's on my team now. I'm expecting more. I think I think Gore is going to be the next great Washington National pitcher.
He might be. He might be. And the Washington Nationals are going to be sneaky good this year. They're going to be sneaky good this year because nobody's paying attention to him because of the Phillies, the your team, the Braves, and the Mets. But he's going to be sneaky good this year. Let's not count them out.
Yep, let's not count him out.
No, no, we're not gonna. Even though they lost yesterday, it's not. I
Yeah,
mean, this is new edition, and we're not counting them out, right?
yeah. That even though the Phillies won after striking out like 19 times,
Exactly.
but hey,
Can't do it all.
as someone who lives in Pennsylvania, they say if you don't love that, you don't love Phillies baseball.
Yep.
Which from what I've seen, I kind of have to agree with that.
Jackson, you're gonna be a little surprised at my number one. Okay.
All
I
right.
have been calling this for probably 3 months, maybe, and people just are kind of looking at me like I'm crazy, which I might be a little crazy, but whatever. Right. Um, how about Spencer Torkelson yesterday? Did you see what he did yesterday?
I saw that he hit a home run,
He hit a home run and he walked 4 times.
4 walks. Ooh.
And so he had a good eye at the plate. Last year, he was swinging at things all over the place. I think the patience that he's exerting is going to help the Tigers in the long run. That they got a lot of young guys, Riley Greens, Colt Keith, a few others like that. But with Spencer Torque, if he has even a halfway decent season, the Tigers are going to be a formidable team. I will mention them later. But um, what an opening day for this guy, right?
Yeah,
Bo,
I mean that's
one for
probably
one
as
for 4 walks.
good of an opening day as you can have. Um,
Yeah, if he went
really.
5 for 5 with 5 home runs, that'd be a different story.
I mean, but nobody's ever gone 5 for 5 with 5 home runs. So
You sure about that?
5 for 5 with 5 home runs in the same game.
Sure about that?
Hold on. Oh, now you're gonna make me check.
John Green, Milwaukee.
He had 4 home runs in that game,
Sure won five? Or did he
and
just go 4 for 4?
he went 6 for 6, 4 home runs, 2 doubles.
Ooh, my bad. So I'm challenging the top fan rivalry stats guy, and I'm losing everybody. This should tell you something. Don't mess with the top fan rivalry stats guy.
Uh, yeah, not. I don't think in the MLB.
Okay. All right.
The record is 4. It's teams really kind of stop pitching to you after the third one. So, but that Sean Green game is probably one of the best individual performances of all time. I will give you that.
Yes. If you had him on your fantasy team that day, you were scoring big.
Oh, yeah. You would swear by him for the rest of your life that Sean Green's
And that too. And that too. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, my friend, that's my number one. Spence Torque has a good game.
Yeah,
We'll see how
but
it plays
the,
out.
the 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 piggyback on that thought, I think if the Tigers lineup is going to be good, they need 30 home run Spencer Torkelson, not 600 OPS Spencer Torkelson. I know that sounds like the dumb caveman baseball take to it, you know,
Doesn't.
but that's really what the Tigers need to compete in the AL Central. Is they need Torkelson to be the number one overall pick that they drafted.
And I think we're getting closer to there. I mean, keep in mind, it's Dodger Stadium. It's opening day for the Tigers, right? Ice Cube comes out with the world champion trophy in a blue, Humpty. I mean, it has all the glitz and glamour and fare. You had Tom Hanks there, Colin Hanks there, you had Rob Lowe, like you had all these, it was everything Hollywood that you could expect. And yet Spencer said, Hold my Gatorade, I'm gonna have a game today.
Yeah,
Now let's see how he bounces back today, but he had a
yeah,
game.
it's certainly a great start. So,
Yeah, certainly a great start. Exactly, exactly. But I agree with you. For the Tigers to be successful, he's got to have a good season.
all right, I
All
guess
right,
I'm
take
up.
me to number two.
Number two. I'm going to say good pitching performances. There were several yesterday. How about Luis Severino for the A's? He had a nice debut. He threw 6 scoreless innings, only gave up 3 hits, walked 4, struck out 6, but 6 scoreless on opening day. I know it's at T-Mobile Park, guys. I know nobody can hit in Seattle, but Severino going out and having a good first start is a boost for the Athletics because he is their most expensive free agent in history, believe it or not, by $1 million over Eric Chavez, which I still don't know how Eric Chavez is anywhere on any list because he signed that contract 2 decades ago. But um, Severino was good. I think the A's are going to be good. I picked them to win the AL West, and I think if they just get solid performance from their veteran pitchers like Severino, like this, they certainly can. I think the AL West is wide open. I think the A's certainly have the talent to compete with teams like the Mariners. Um, I mean, they don't match up talent wise to a team like the Rangers per se, but the Rangers do have injury questions. But I think the A's getting a good pitching performance to start the season. I know their bullpen imploded, but it happens. Your bullpen's not going to save 100% of the games. It just happened to happen on opening day. But I think Severino starting the A's off with a good 6 inning start might set the tone for them to be pretty good this year.
And that's a good call. I was listening to we won't name drop here, but I was listening to Matt Van Scourgen's Matty V's picks, and he was pretty passionate about what he had chose, but there are a number of people that, including him, I believe, that say that they think the A's are going to finish higher than the Angels this season.
They did last year.
So, yeah,
Probably do it again.
yeah, yeah. I good call on that White or a good call. I'm sorry on that A's thing, Jackson. I think they are going to they're going to play well this season. They may not be playoff ready, but they're definitely going to throw some wrenches in some people's spokes, and they may even be 500 this season.
Yeah, I
So
think they're going to win the division. So I sure hope they're at least 500. Otherwise, otherwise, don't watch the AL West.
they're going to be 63 and 99 and win the division.
Oh, that would I would immediately be on board with the people who are like eliminate divisions. I'd be like, all right, you are now correct. We can do it now.
Oh, too funny, too funny, too funny. Um, okay, my number two is gonna give some cause for discussion, I'm sure, Jackson. Now, it is a one game sample size, so let's call a spade, right? Um, but the Chicago White Sox came out swinging yesterday. They will not be as bad as they were last season, obviously. Uh, I mean, it would be really hard for them to be worse than last. But to me, they're playing, and I've interviewed a couple of Chicago White Sox fans recently, and to me, they're literally playing with no expectations on their back, so they can go out and make a lot of things happen. I think the Chicago White Sox are going to be a little bit better than everybody thinks. They may still have triple digit losses, but they're going to be a lot better than what people think. Jackson convinced me.
Like you said, it's a one game sample size. I think the 8 runs is probably more encouraging than anything. You could probably count on one hand the number of times they scored 8 runs last year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Unfortunately, so good for them to get off to a nice start. I would say it's. I think it's going to be important for the young guys on the team to maybe have a month that's around 500 record. If they can get one month that's like 500 or better, I think that will help boost the morale a little bit, and they might not lose 100 games. But hey, winning 8-1 on opening day, you get a position player on the mound for the other team. That's a win. Enjoy it, White Sox fans. You are in first place after one game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not, I mean, we don't want to, again, one game sample size, but a lot of things went right there. Like you said, you got a position player on the bump. After a while, it's a one game sample size. Nobody freaks out about it, but I actually do think the White Sox are going to not be the laughable team that everybody thinks they're coming off of last year. Hey, maybe the baseball gods have something in for us this season, and maybe they end up being freakishly good and make the playoffs, going from a 121 loss season to making the playoffs. But I
Hey,
doubt
look,
that. I doubt that.
hey, look. I don't want to, have anyone go put some money down on this, but the last two teams to win 8-1 on opening day won the World Series. So
Everybody, the top fan rivalry stats guy. There it is, right there.
I'm not the top fan rivalry gambling guy. So please do not take my opinions.
Gamble responsibly, or whatever they say,
Gamble
right?
responsibly. Don't do what I say.
There you go. There you go. All right, Jackson, what you got for number three?
Uh, let's talk about Tyler O'Neill.
Hmm.
He's a journeyman at this point. 6 straight opening day home runs for him as Baltimore absolutely bludgeoned Toronto yesterday. Uh,
Legends.
battered, steamrolled. Pick your favorite verb. But Baltimore looked good out the gate. Uh, I think their keys. Rushman was banged up last year. Henderson's banged up to start the series on the injured list. I think it's keeping their core healthy. As long as they can do that, I think their pitching is good enough. I know they don't have a true ace, really. Uh, Grayson Rodriguez might be it. We'll see, but I think their lineup is definitely good enough. I think Tyler O'Neill provides them with the right-handed bat they need to replace Anthony Santander. He might hit 40 home runs playing for Baltimore.
Mhm. By the way, do you know who my catcher is on our fantasy league?
I know you picked Adley Rushman. Two dingers,
Two dingers.
two
So
dingers. He,
yeah,
he's off
that
to
was
he's off to a hot start. Like I said, you and I both thought he played banged up for most of the second half last year because he just fell off a cliff. If he's healthy and they can get Gunnar Henderson back healthy, this Baltimore team, watch out. The AL is weak.
mhm,
So any team that can have good, consistent hitting in the middle of their lineup has a chance to win the American League.
yeah, has a chance to win the American League. Exactly. Exactly. Um, The American League East is kind of up for grabs. You're going to have a lot of good teams over there. Boston's going to be good. Baltimore, Toronto's gotten better. Um, you're going to see the Yankees. Yankees won yesterday, right? So Yankees are banged up pretty good, but they
It,
still got a lot of juice over there.
yeah, it's all about depth and keeping the key guys healthy. Like, look, if Baltimore's hinges on Henderson and Rutschman, you could say the Yankees it hinges on Aaron Judge being healthy.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, my number three is going to exit. This is again 1 game sample size. Who did the White Sox play yesterday?
The Angels.
The Angels.
Oh boy.
It's a 1 game sample size, yes. But is it? I mean, I watched this team on Tuesday night at Anaheim Stadium play the Dodgers. They got 1 hit in a preseason game where Dustin May pitched, I think, 4 innings, and then half of the guys that pitched didn't even have names on the back of their jerseys, because you know that they're not going to be playing. They're not going to make the team. Some of them might even be a double A right now. Uh, the Angels, I watched them get first and second with nobody on or with nobody out, and they bunted second and third, and then couldn't advance the runner. Couldn't at least get a fly ball to advance the runner. It was a strikeout and then a fly out to end the inning. Um, are the Angels in trouble? Is there? They didn't have an incredible spring. Are they in trouble early?
Uh, probably. uh, I think the big key is going to be how do the young guys advance in this lineup. The Angels
Mhm.
aren't going to go anywhere if Nolan Schanuel, Joe Adell don't hit. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that because they need like Jorge Soler's a good power hitter, but they need somebody better than Jorge Soler to protect Mike Trout. Mike Trout was over 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Also, PSA, stop throwing at Mike Trout's hands. I want him healthy for a full season. Stop. Just stop. He got hit in the hand, and I was like, oh, here we go again. But,
Here they go. Here they go on the first
well,
day of the season.
first day of the season, first at bat. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, but I think that's because if that happens, it turns into situations we've seen time and time again when teams figure stuff out like this. I'm not saying the Phillies are as bad as the Angels in that sense, but in the playoffs, you can see a team like the Phillies who leans on a player like Bryce Harper. If you don't have the right guy to protect him, what happens, Bill? They
Yeah.
just walk. They just pitch
Just
around
walk them.
Harper. You
Go
throw
around
junk.
them.
You throw junk on the edge and hope he swings at it. If he doesn't, oh well,
Yep. Go around them.
go
Exactly.
go around him. It's not exclusive to Bryce Harper or Mike Trout. Teams have done it to the Yankees with Aaron Judge. It's certainly forcing teams to you're challenging the guy behind him, and it's no disrespect to the guy behind him. It's you just don't want to face one of the best hitters on the planet, and I think that's been the Angels' problem for years. They never had Trout and Ohtani really healthy and motoring together at the same time. People are always like, "Oh, they had Trout and Ohtani." I'm like, but never on the field at the same time.
Hmm.
And
Well, yeah.
and
I'm
that,
sorry. I didn't
that
mean
that
to
that's what
interrupt.
it is at the end of the day. The Angels only go as far as how their young guys progress and how if anyone can protect Mike Trout. That's the real question.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm looking at the box score, and this is something that you're going to see a lot from the Angels this year. And I don't know that it's a 1 game sample size, right? But you had 10 strikeouts for the Angels yesterday. They only took 2 walks. They had 5 hits. 2 of those hits came from Logan O'Hoppe. But Jorge Soler went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Tim Anderson went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, which I'm sure made everybody in Chicago happy. Renhefo went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Logan O'Hoppe went 2 for 4 with 1 strikeout. Joe Adell went 1 for 3 with a strikeout. I mean, it just keeps going down. You can't and you can't give up big innings either. I mean, the White Sox scored 3 in the second inning, and then they scored 5 in the eighth inning. You can't give up big innings like that. You just
Yeah, and part of that goes, look, I know Ryan Johnson's like one of the first pitchers since I believe it's Garrett Crochet to
Hmm.
skip the minor leagues. The Angels need to ease him in. They they do this a lot, and a lot of teams do this too, where you think a guy's major league ready, he throws a nice inning in relief instead of letting him, sit down and build on it. You throw him back out there for a second inning. These are major league hitters, man. If you don't, if your velocity dips down half a mile an hour, if your slider doesn't finish with enough bite, these guys will hit you around. Like I know the White Sox are like were the worst team ever basically last year, but like the guys on their team are established big leaguers. They got
Yeah,
Miguel Vargas, Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi, Andrew Vaughn. I know they didn't have good stats in the stats sheet yesterday or last year, but these are guys that can hit you around because they've made it to the big leagues. And they played multiple years in the big leagues for a reason. So I think early on in the season, you really got to watch these young teams and how they manage their young players because a lot of that's a lot of player development is knowing when you can take your win and build on it instead
yeah,
of just pushing it. I know it's only game one, so we don't need to like blast them for it, but it's just something to keep in mind.
yeah, exactly. It's something you keep in mind. So, well, we'll talk about individual performances in a second. Before we do that, I want to thank Bleacher Brothers Radio Sports Network, AJ and his crew over there for having us on. And Jackson, I got to tell you, we launched something earlier this month, and it has been flying off the shelf. It is called the 27-ounce club. What it is if you are a card collector, you can pay 27 bucks a month and you have your team in that box, those two box breaks, the club box breaks, two box breaks, you have your team guaranteed. Plus, you get a $5 credit every month. Plus, we put you on what they call hold status. So we'll ship out things to you, a couple of times a month, once a month, twice a month, whatever. It kind of feels like free shipping, but you're guaranteed. And so this week, we are breaking the 2024 Topps Heritage High number that just dropped 2 days ago. We're breaking it on Monday. I got the box here in my office. We've already got 14 teams sold. The other 16 teams are going to be flying off the shelf. But if you're a collector, don't go spend 15, 18, 20 bucks on each team every time you're doing it. Just join the club and you're good to go. Right?
Yeah.
We're joining the club, Jackson. We need to get you back into being a collector. We need to get you back into being a collector. We need to get Jackson cards, right? We need to be making like one of one Jackson cards.
One of one Jackson cards.
Yes. Yes. All right, Jackson, what you got for number four?
Number four, let's talk about another team that's young and is probably looking to prove something this year that they're not as bad as they actually are. The Marlins. Um, the Marlins had their first opening day walk-off yesterday. Kyle Stowers, who was acquired last year, and I believe it was Tyler. No, it's not. And is his last name Anderson? No, I'm thinking of a different pitcher. Taylor, or is it Tyler Rogers? I think it was
One of them, Taylor,
one of them.
Tyler. I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that sounds right. Left-handed pitcher. That's what I know. I'm not good. I'm good with the stats, not with the names. I told Thomas that the other day. Good with the stats, not the names. But a nice piece. He delivered their first opening day walk-off against the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, thoughts on that is, the Marlins might be better than we think they are. I don't think they're very good. I think they might lose 120 games. But if they can get some sort of progression out of any of their position players, not named Xavier Edwards, I think it's a big win for the Marlins, a big step forward. They've kind of rebuilt their farm system. They only have one guy on their everyday lineup that was on their playoff team a couple of years ago. And that's Jesus Sanchez. So
Sanchez. Yep.
I think the Marlins showing some grit and beating a team that people think are going to be good, who I think is going to be good, the Pittsburgh Pirates, is really big for them.
Okay. Uh,
On the other side of the coin, the Pirates bullpen ruins another Paul Skeens gem. Uh, it needs to be said.
it does need to be said. It was funny because I was running around like crazy yesterday. I had meeting after meeting. We were doing lives. I had podcast. It was just nuts. And so yesterday, I turned on the TV to watch the 2025 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers, and I'm looking at the bottom lines, and I'm realizing that Pittsburgh lost. I thought Miami, and Skeens was on the mound. And so then I started looking at the statistics and I thought, oh, wait a second. Wait a second. The bullpen gave that up. That wasn't Paul's job. The bullpen gave that up. So, yep. Welcome to the majors, Mr. Hobbs. That happens, right?
Yep. Again,
The
if you don't like the bullpen being high stretch, you don't like Pirates baseball, Bill. That's what it's all about.
well, you're right though. Miami could have triple digit losses, but they're starting to show something. They at least they have a little bit of lifeblood now. Again, one sample size. Talk to me in May, right? I mean, in May they might be 15-35, and we're looking
But
at it going,
hey, look, if they can develop Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby into everyday major leaguers, I think that's a big win for their season. I
yeah,
think their season is going to hinge a lot on how well they develop the guys that they got in trades last year.
yeah.
And then somebody else who I might mention in my number five, depending on what you want to talk about. So
Okay, I like it. Okay, I'm gonna throw out something here, and I want you to tell me if I'm being overly cynical here. I'm nailing it. Okay. I think the Yankees season, because of I think that because of the Garrett Cole injury, I think the Yankees season rides or dies. That trade that they got with Max Fried was huge for them. But I think their season rides or dies on how good Carlos Rendon is. Um, Yesterday goes 5 1/3. Only gives up 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He did give up a bomb, but I mean he got you 16 outs. So um, and that to me that's key. And so a lot of what I think the Yankees season is going to look like rides or dies on this guy. Go ahead and tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I think because Max Fried's got to step up and be the guy. And let me tell you, as a Braves fan, Max Fried was never really the guy. He was always the number two in
Mhm.
Atlanta. Um, so I think the Yankees really need somebody to step up and kind of be that number one. Rodon on his with his best stuff is a number one pitcher. Uh, we've seen it, high 90s from the left side, southpaw, good breaking stuff. They're going to need him to be really good and kind of shoulder the load and make every start this season in the absence of Garrett Cole. And I think you're right. It's going to it rides or dies on that because if Rodon can't do it, that rotation's looking very, very, very suspect for a
Yeah,
supposed American League favorite.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And when you were looking at Carlos Rendon and Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole and Max Fried, you were looking at something that was pretty dominant. You take Garrett Cole out of there, and if Carlos Rendon has an iffy start, let's say you're going to Boston, Carlos Rendon has an iffy start, and you've got a 3 game series up there, right? And it's August, and I'm just making this up. It's August, and you're trying to fight for different things like playoff positioning and things like that. Well, you know, who's your next guy up, right? And it's not Garrett Cole.
Yeah. It it really is that the Max Fried signing is really big for them, but I think it really does hinge on that signing that they made from way before. Carlos Rodon needs to be the guy. He's
Yeah, he,
he's
he
the
needs to be
ace.
now that Nasty Nestor's gone. I mean, I'm sorry, the guy that said that the Yankees were better than the Dodgers in the World Series last year. Mind you, that's the guy that gave up the home run that Gibby meet Freddie, Freddie meet Gibby, right? I mean, you'll be remembered in Dodger lore for a long time, mi amigo. Keep talking. Anyways, what you got for number 5, Jackson? Let's not pick on anybody.
I wanted to talk about the Marlins starter. I want to talk about Sandy Alcantara yesterday.
Ah,
Uh, he hit 99 in his return. I know
mhm.
he got bounced in the fifth inning, but 4 2/3, only 2 hits is encouraging, 4 walks, a little high, 7 strikeouts, but touching 99 after Tommy John is good. This is a good sign for the Marlins because they can either A, keep him for the next, including this season, I think it's next 3 years, and try to build around him with at the front of the rotation, or B, build his trade value up and get some major league ready players back. Um, we've seen if you can get He's a Cy Young Award winner, won it in 2022. It feels like it was forever ago, guys. It wasn't that long ago. But Sandy's the type of pitcher that, if you're in a rebuild, you really want on your roster because he provides you value either through the innings he eats or by the pieces he gets you back. So I think just prepare yourselves. We don't do a ton of rumors here on Top Fan, but prepare yourselves for the Sandy rumors all summer long when this guy's out there dealing. That's all I'm gonna say because seven strikeouts ain't nothing to shake a stick at.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's actually a good one. That was my honorable mention, one of my honorable mentions. So I'm glad you brought that up. The Again, the Marlins need something that is a reason for them to go to the ballpark, right? People to go to the ballpark. They had Jeff Conine for a lot of years, right? And he was kind of the face of the organization. They
Mr.
don't
Marlin.
really, what's that?
Mr. Marlin. That's his
Yeah.
name.
And they don't really have that right now. And so Sandy doing Sandy things is going to be huge for that group over there,
Yeah,
right?
and if they want to build around him, he's the right guy too. He fits the demographic of the Latino population down there. I'm sure he loves it in Miami. They love him in Miami. And watching the clips, they had a fair number of fans there yesterday for opening day. Even if it was just to watch Paul Skeens and Sandy Alcantara throw 100 miles an hour back and forth. It's something. It's progress.
Bienvenidos a Miami.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, okay. So my number five, before we get into honorable mentions, my number five is I'm going to stick on the bump, and my honorable mentions will not be on the bump, but I'm going to stick on the bump. There's a guy that is young in the league that was part of a trade. Jackson, I'm going to see who, if you know who I'm talking about. He was part of a trade. High profile player got traded. He came over to another team. Started yesterday. Didn't have a great start, but he's going to be a guy to watch in the very near future. And he's going to help a National League West team out quite a bit. Who am I talking about?
You're talking about Michael King.
I am talking about Mike King. This kid's good, Jackson. This
He is
kid
good.
is really, really freaking good. And I don't care what people say about what the Padres are going to do or what they're going to be. I actually think the Padres and Giants are going to duke it out for third place. But the Padres, I could be convinced that the Padres are going to be a little bit better than what we had anticipated.
I could buy that, and people criticize the Padres for trading for Soto and then trading Soto away. I think the Padres have made the correct moves for the situations they've been in. Uh, you know, I know we just talked about Mackenzie Gore being a piece of that Soto trade, but they've gone out and replaced it. They've gotten Dylan Cease. They've gone out, they get Michael King in the trade back for Juan Soto. So the Padres have a better roster than you think they do. I think the Padres season really hinges on how well the top of the lineup can carry them. Because in the
Yeah.
game yesterday, being a Braves fan watching, every time the top of the lineup, it was a danger. Their bottom three, not so much. So it really hinges on how well the top of the lineup can carry them and keep them in games offensively.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
certainly have good enough pitching to hold a lead, but it's getting the pitching to lead is always the hardest part.
Yeah. He's good. I mean, this King kid is good, but you're right. It's holding the lead. And the Padres, let's not forget the Padres playing a division where the Diamondbacks are a lot better. Though the Diamondbacks lost yesterday, they did score 6 runs. It's not often in baseball that you score 6 runs and take an L, right?
It's not
It's
it's not
very
even
rare.
it's not even often you score like 4 or 5 runs and lose.
Exactly, exactly. And so they play in a division with the Dodgers, who we already know are going to go 161-1. They're going to lose one game to the White Sox this season.
And then they're going to get
And
swept by the Rockies in the NLDS. Got it.
hmm,
Power of friendship.
hmm. Nobody likes Jackson, everybody. This will be the last weekly review we do. It's been good having Jackson on. No, I'm just
I,
like,
I'd, I'd like to cash out my sick time and my.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. My PTO. How much PTO do I got, Coach? Somebody call HR. But no, I mean, he does play for a team that is going to be it. They have a lot of dogfights too, and don't sleep on Colorado either. Colorado, Jackson, I don't know. I mean, you probably don't watch this a lot, but Colorado seems to play up when they play the Dodgers and play the Padres. For some reason, people will think, "Oh, you're just playing Colorado." No, 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 no. These guys are good. These guys are
It's,
good.
especially in Coors Field, you're tired. You're on top of a mountain. It sucks to run, and the ball you hit the ball and it goes like 500 feet.
Mhm. I I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Um, uh, I yeah, 100% agree. Okay, okay. I have for for honorable mentions. We're gonna do honorable mentions, but I want to do something a little different. I want to do a rapid fire game with you after you mention your honorable mentions.
All right,
So what do you got for your honorable mentions?
I just got one for the
Okay.
first time in 18,000 games. The Yankees had a catcher hitting leadoff, and he hit a leadoff home run. Austin Wells, congratulations for making.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
well,
Congratulations, Jackson, on pulling that out. Who would have
it's
known
been
that? Anybody
it,
except for Jackson, the top fan rivalry stats guy.
look.
I would have
I'm not
never
gonna.
known that.
I'm not gonna pretend I deep dove into that myself. I'm just confirming information that's been floating around. I had heard that and I confirmed it, and I said, "Wow, the Yankees have never had a catcher hit leadoff," and I wonder how many other teams haven't had a catcher that hit leadoff. I'll let you know when I deep dive into that. That's a little bit more work. But I just thought that was an interesting tidbit from opening day. The first pitch of the season, the Yankees Brewers game was the first one to start. First pitch of the season was something that had literally never happened before. So
Okay.
interesting, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's interesting. I had never known that, and if you're not a huge Yankees fan, why would you know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, even to go as far as he's the first catcher to hit a leadoff home run on opening day. That's how weird. That's how weird it is.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%. Okay, Jackson, before we do this again, we gotta remind everybody about the 27 ounce club. This thing is a way to save money. Jackson, I gotta tell you real quickly why we started this club. Okay. Um, as a business owner, I have my thoughts about how you make money. As a person, I also have my thoughts about where people put themselves, financially, personally in their lives. We were getting people that were spending a significant amount of money on box breaks, which I thought was great. But then I thought, how can we save them some money? And we came up with the 27 ounce club. Because again, think about this for a second, Jackson. When the box drops today at noon, each team is $15. But if you are one of the guys that already has a team, you don't have to spend that $15. You already have your team, right? And so I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's actually an amazing concept. So yeah, it's a way to save money. It's a way for collectors to be collectors.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Go to topfanrivalry.com, go to the team store, get yourself your access.
Do it. Get some
So,
baseball cards.
baseball cards. Okay, Jackson, I'm going to do rapid fire with you. Okay, you ready? Some of
Yep.
this stuff we've talked about in prior podcasts, but never on this show. I want rapid fire answers for you and to justify your answers.
All
For
right.
the next 12 to 14 minutes, it's rapid fire. Ready?
All right. Do it.
How many teams in baseball this season are going to win 100 games?
4.
Who are they?
Uh, the Dodgers, the Braves. I think the Diamondbacks will win 100 games. And then in the American League, I think the Boston Red Sox will win 100 games.
Hmm. My answer is one. I think the Dodgers. I do think that the Braves, I don't know about Arizona. I think Arizona will be
Or
in
hold
the.
on. Hold on. I said the Orioles were going to win the division on the prediction podcast. I think it's the Orioles. Whoever wins the AL East will win 100 games. So
Okay.
I'll say the Orioles.
I think you're going to have a lot of high 90s. I think the Dodgers are the only ones that cross it. How many teams are going to have a 100 loss season?
I'm going to say 3.
Who are they?
Miami, the White Sox, and then Where'd they go? I think Toronto's going to lose 100 games.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they're so in on this Vlad Jr. push that they're going to be under a ton of pressure. I don't think their bullpen's that good. The rotation's a little suspect.
Really?
I think they might lose.
Wow, Jackson.
All teams in the other teams in the AL East are significantly better than Toronto,
Okay. Listen,
and that includes the Rays. And that might sound like a crazy statement, but the Rays have gotten a lot of their pitching healthy in this last year, and they have
really,
some prospects coming up that can really hit. Junior Caminero is one of them.
man.
So
Okay. I have losing 100 games. I have Colorado. I have, believe it or not, this is going to surprise you. I have the Angels.
they've never done it. That's why I can't pick them. They've never done it before.
I have the Angels, because I'm assuming that something's going to happen to Trout.
Don't you wish that evil upon the world?
I'm not wishing evil on him, but I'm just saying.
By assuming it is your desired outcome.
Thank you, Webster. I appreciate that. All of a sudden, we got Jackson, Webster, Westfall.
Yeah. But also,
Um,
I want to apologize to the Canadians. I know you already don't like Americans right now, and don't take the 100 loss thing personally. Please don't hurt me.
yeah. I think those are the only teams that do it, to be honest with you. I think Miami's gonna be they're gonna have a rough season, but I don't think they're gonna get to triple digit losses. So,
Uh,
okay, rapid fire. Rapid fire. Who wins the AL Cy Young?
The AL Cy Young. I actually wrote this down, so it will be that's rapid. I had Garrett Crochet.
Okay. I got Tariq Skubal.
He won it last year. It's really hard to win back-to-back Cy Young awards.
I watched him pitch yesterday, man. He's really good. He's really when that changeup Jackson that he throws is on, you got batters guessing like you wouldn't believe they were guessing.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I know. Look, I think Crochet's good. I think this is the year Garrett Crochet is going to look really, really good though.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Who wins the AL MVP?
AL MVP is going to be Bobby Witt Jr. I think we will
Mhm.
finally unseat Aaron Judge and the Aaron Judge and Shohei. Shohei's in the NL now, but Aaron Judge is the only hurdle he's got to clear. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is going to hit 35 home runs and steal like 40 bases. So that's just what he
Okay.
does. Like
I
Gold
agree
Glove
with you. I think
defense.
Bobby Wood Jr. gets the AL MVP.
And I don't think the Yankees are going to be as good as everyone thinks they are. And I think the Royals might be pretty good. So
There you go. There you go. Okay, who wins the NL Cy Young?
he's due for one. So I'm going to pick Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's been the best pitcher in the NL probably over the last 4 years. If you take the last 4 years, certainly since he's joined the Phillies, he's been the best pitcher in the NL. He ranks in the top like three in like every stat imaginable. He almost won it last year, got edged out by Chris Sale. He probably should have maybe won in 2021, lost to Corbin Burns, despite throwing like 40 more innings than him. But I get Burns was really good that year too. I just think he's due for one. He's certainly good. He threw 6 innings yesterday with 1 run ball.
Yeah. No, I'm
Zach
with
Wheeler
you.
things, man.
I'm with you. I don't think that that's a bad call. I really don't. But you ready for this one?
I have an idea who you're gonna say, but go
Who?
right ahead.
Who do you think I'm gonna say?
I think you're gonna say Yamamoto.
I do. Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, it's not me being a homer. This guy is good. It's his second year. He's learned how to play with bigger, the ball is a little bit bigger here in the States than it is in Japan. This guy is really good. And I mean, you can have Zach Wheeler in the conversation, you have Paul Skeens in the conversation, you have Chris Sale in the conversation. Shohei Ohtani is not going to be in that conversation.
No.
He's just not going to pitch enough. But
He might
but
Shohei might pitch 100 innings if we're lucky, if they let him.
yeah,
I don't think they're going to let him go over 100
yeah, and that's what I
personally.
was
Even if
telling
he,
Dodger fans on a live last night was you're going to see Kershaw with 100 innings, you're going to see Shohei with 100 innings. Shohei's probably going to go 4-3 or 5-2, but he's going to be 30-30. So 30-30 with a 5-2 record with an ERA under 4. Come on, right?
Yeah.
Who's your NL MVP?
Until somebody else proves that they could get closer to him, Shohei Ohtani is probably going to be the MVP. Um, the only way I see him not winning it is if he comes back to pitching and he's terrible and he just doesn't have as good of an offensive year as anybody else.
Yeah. I'm already picking him for at least a 30-30 season this season. I
Yeah.
mean, he's absolutely amazing. Now, one of the people that we're in a fantasy league with, his name's Brian Thrower. You and I are in a fantasy league with him. His son Jackson, that's his son's name. His son Jackson predicted that Shohei is going to hit 74 home runs to outdo Barry Bonds and to end the season with 300 home runs. It was just to get to that 300 home runs.
Uh,
Hey, come on, that was a little fun, right? You got to
yeah.
have some fun with that.
I just want to remind everyone you can go look up Barry Bonds highlights. Yes, it doesn't help you see the baseball better, but steroids do help. Go watch his broken bat home run against or against the Marlins that year,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
and just shake your head. And go, how did that ball leave the yard? No one's going to hit that many again ever. I think they're going to stop pitching to him. They'd rather give up home runs than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, my final question for you, Jackson, because I love this, and I'm going to repeat what you had said because I wrote it down and what I said. Okay, give me one team that is going to be sneaky good this year that may actually sneak. They may not make the playoffs, but they may sneak in or make it come close. And then one team that's going to be sneaky bad this year.
I think that Washington Nationals are going to be in the NL wild card conversation come the summer. How long they stick around, I have no idea. Uh, Thomas and I over on Chop House Chatter, check us out on YouTube.
Just do.
Did our Braves series preview, season preview, and we talked a lot about the Nationals, how good they look. They have a really nice young core, and really, it's just kind of the perfect storm. You know, if the Phillies aren't careful, the Nationals might leapfrog them here in a couple of years.
In a
That's how
couple
high they are on
years, maybe sooner than that.
a couple of years, as in next year, not
Mhm.
this year, but next year.
You're talking
So
about Gore and Wood and Cruz. Like they've got
yeah,
a
the
young,
DJ
young group.
Abrams, yeah, Caber Ruiz is a really solid catcher behind the plate. But they got some guys on that team, man. Um, but I think the Nationals will be sneaky good. I think they'll be in the wild card discussion for a while. A sneaky bad team, it it's carried on from the offseason, but I think it's going to be the Detroit Tigers. I know we have a 1 game sample size, but 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position on opening day. You got to do better. You can't waste Scooble starts. You can't waste them like that. 15 opportunities to score. The game was pretty close. You know, it was a 3-run game. So you got to capitalize on the runners you put on base.
So I I
I think
disagree with
that's
you.
I think that's going to be their bane, though. I don't think their lineup's deep enough, and it's just
I see. I disagree with you. I think Detroit's going to win that division, but um, it's okay to disagree, right?
this.
Sneaky good, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nobody has expectations on them unless Paul Skeens is pitching. That division, I think, is wide open for the taking. Um, I don't see any team in that division that I look at and go, "Ooh, they're a powerhouse," right? I mean, the Cardinals have basically dismantled their team. The Cubs, we'll see.
Like my problem with the Cubs is they always have these expectations and they have the stars, but they always come up short. They always figure out a way. And I agree with you. I was more high on the Pirates with Jared Jones being healthy. Uh, him spraining his elbow here in the last week of spring training does raise a couple of concerns. It's looking like the
Does
because they had a really nice three-headed 1-2-3 punch. Without Jones, it's just a 1-2 punch of Skeens and Keller.
yeah.
And you need a little bit more than that to compete in the National League. There's a lot of the National League is stacked. So but I agree with you. I believe in the Pirates. I probably shouldn't, but I do.
So my team that's going to be worse than people think is who Matt Vasgersian chose to win the AL Central, and that is the Minnesota Twins. I do not, I do
Well,
not think the Minnesota Twins.
I didn't pick the Twins to win the Central either. So
Well, I mean, I just think they're going to be a little. little, they're just they're gonna be about average. 81, 81, 80 and 82, 79, 83, someplace around in there. They're not gonna be lights out by any way, shape, or form.
No,
So
the Twins rely. They have that classic. They have good players. Byron Buxton needs to stay on the field.
mhm,
Royce Lewis is already injured, hamstring strain. So
mhm.
these are the guys they need in their lineup because those are their best hitters. Royce Lewis, when healthy, is a fantastic middle infielder slash third baseman. Problem is,
Yep.
if he can't play 2/3 of your games, it's a moot point.
Preach,
And
preach.
they didn't do anything all offseason because who knows what ownership's doing. I heard they're trying to facilitate a sale, the cash out on the Twins after not making them any better. But they broke their playoff curse a couple of years ago and they didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think the Twins are going to be sneaky bad, and I think we're going to see this window kind of shut for them, which is really sad because I like some of the players they got on that team.
I do too. I just think they're going to be a little bit worse than everybody thinks.
I
So,
agree with
so everybody that's listening to the weekly review on Bleacher Brothers Radio Network, if you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Here's the thing. Jackson and I usually go through 1 through 5s for the week. We also go through our honorable mentions. This week, I surprised Jackson with a couple of questions. Here they are. Jackson says 4 teams are going to win 100 games: the Dodgers, the Braves, his team, of course, Arizona, and the Orioles. I said just the Dodgers. He said 3 teams are going to lose 100 games: the White Sox, Toronto, and Miami. Toronto fans out there, make sure that you at Jackson. Um,
you.
I'm just
Yeah.
teasing. I said Colorado and Anaheim. Jackson said Crochet is going to win some hardware with the Cy Young, and that Bobby Wood Jr. is going to win some hardware with the MVP. I say Bobby Wood Jr. and Tariq Skubal. National League, Zach Wheeler, Shohei Ohtani. I say Yamamoto, Shohei. Um, Jackson says sneaky good team is a Washington Nationals. Sneaky bad team is the Detroit Tigers. Hey, Jackson just doesn't like that region of land. He doesn't like Detroit, Toronto, in that
What?
region right there.
What?
Just not happy with that region, I guess. I said Miami or Minnesota is going to be sneakily not awesome, and Pittsburgh is going to be awesome. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get a map out, and we're going to try to see if we can't unoffend Jackson from that region of the U.S. and Canada right in there,
Hey,
because it looks like we've got some issues. Jackson, it's okay, man. We'll get you through it. It's okay. They got some good food. Go get yourself some burners in Detroit area. You'll be fine, right?
look, I'm just not high on the lineup, all right?
Not high on something.
I'm not high on anything.
There you go. Top Fan Rivalry friends, thank you for listening to us on Bleacher Brothers Radio Network. Thank you for listening to us on YouTube. Check out Jackson's article that he wrote. It's on the home page. We put it on the home page now. So we're grateful for Jackson doing that and look forward to what we can do in the future for you. We'll be back next week on Bleacher Brothers Radio Network. We thank AJ. We thank all of our sponsors. We'll be talking about them again next week as well. Everybody, have yourself a great day. Jackson, how do they save some money if they're going to go into the team store?
Use code Jackson, get 10% off. Anything you pick up in the team store over there in the locker room, you can get the discount on baseball cards. You can get a discount on your top fan hats, on your top fan sweatshirts, anything you want. Get prepped for the season because it started. Come on, you're late.
It started. There you go. There you go. Awesome. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Have a good one.